Hello, everyone. What is the metaverse and why should you care? How can the metaverse transform your business and marketing strategies? These are some of the questions we'll explore in MetaTalks, a new initiative by MetaGate Summit. I'm Lara Dawood, founder of Mena Events, the organizing team behind MetaGate Summit. And I'm glad to be your host for the first episode of this online interview series where we gather the brightest minds in the metaverse industry. MetaGate is a 3-day hybrid summit that will bring together experts from around the world to discuss the current trends, challenges, and opportunities in the metaverse world. You will learn from sessions, keynotes, fireside talks, and panels, but you will also discover and support the next generation of metaverse entrepreneurs in our Innovate Accelerate Startup competition. So mark your calendars and get ready for a fantastic experience. Today, we're excited to kick off our first episode of MetaTalks with a special guest, Mr. Shujat Mirza, Mena Chapter President of VRAR Association. As our MetaGate official association partner, VRAR plays a crucial role in helping us bring the best minds in the metaverse industry together. Mr. Mirza has over 15 years of experience in innovation, content, and technology, and he's an expert in XR, digital content, brand management, communication, and business growth. Mr. Shujat, welcome to MetaTalks.
Thank you, Lara. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the kind introduction. Looking forward to this initiative. Looking forward to having these sessions more. And as I said, I'm excited actually.
It's our pleasure as well, Shujat. To start off, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your experience in the metaverse industry?
Sure. I lead the Mena chapter for VRAR Association. It's been now, I think, more than 5 years since we started it in Dubai first, and then it became UAE, and now Mena. It's been a good journey. I'm commercially also I'm associated with a company called Media Pro. I lead the innovation division for the market, where most of the work that we do is for XR and XR related projects. I think that's me, short and sweet. Having in the industry since, as I said, in Dubai, I've been here since 2010. Very closely associated with XR, whether it's the first project that I did was in using augmented reality for a brand here, then launching the association, then we initiated knowledge forums like MetaGate with the government here. So yes, I would say I've been an early preacher and adopter.
Yeah.
That with XR and Metaverse.
Actually, Shujat, we are honored to have you and the VRAR on board as our association partner for MetaGate Summit, and we're glad to be working together to deliver the best edition of this year's edition or this year's summit. Now, let's dive into our first topic. In your opinion, Shujat, how do you see the metaverse industry evolving over the next few years? And what role do you see VR and AR playing in this evolution?
Let me start by saying that I would not call metaverse industry yet. I would say it as a force which will impact different industries across industries. It's going to impact in simple terms. If I would say, it's going to impact how we work, how we communicate, how we entertain, how we educate ourselves, how we do our daily chores. To a large extent, I think that's the end game. In the 15 years, 10 years down the line, things which we consider are film fiction will be reality, and most of the time that's what we have seen, right? The metaverse concept goes back to 1960s, though it gained a lot of interest and traction since Mark Zuckerberg spoke about it and changed Facebook to Meta. So it's going to impact everything. It's going to impact enterprise. It's going to impact brands, how they engage with consumers. It's going to impact retail heavily. It's going to impact education, healthcare. From my understanding, it's already doing You know,
We are starting to see some examples or
yes,
case
yes,
studies.
we are starting in the region itself. For example, we have started these enterprises and both UAE government and federal entities using XR now to train, for example, their employees.
Yes.
Which is I won't say a first step, which is like a second and third step towards achieving the final goal of having metaverse. All of them have strategy in place. All of them might not have platforms yet, but they're working towards it. You know, so there are departments. There's a talent pool which will focus only on XR related stuff and metaverse in the near future. So yes, it's going to impact everything that we do. You know, maybe not directly our generation that much, because but the generation that's in school and colleges, they're going to see a different world altogether.
Yes. Shujat, as the MENA president of VRAR, how do you see the association's role in shaping the future of the metaverse? Can you share any initiatives or programs that VRAR is currently working on to support the industry's growth?
Yeah, a very key role, Lara, a very key role. That's how we started the association when the world was talking about AR and VR way back in 2014, 2013. The association was started by two gentlemen, Mr. Nathan Python and Chris Colo. I'm happy, actually thankful to them they did it, because it's the only association that stayed, that garnered so much of support and user base, that created initiatives, knowledge forums, events, engagement platforms for the entire ecosystem to come together, contribute, talk about what they're doing and how they want to support, what support they want. So our focus was that. Our focus was very knowledge driven. Our focus wasn't commercial. Our focus was very knowledge driven. Our focus was on creating an ecosystem, and that's what we've been trying to do. At a global level here in UAE as well. I remember we were the first ones to collaborate with Dubai World Trade Center, and we're in the region. We did the first XR dedicated area for Dubai Future Week, Technology Week, which used to happen in March and April. Then they collaborated together with ITEX. That was one of the first that happened in the region. And you won't believe, Lara, people didn't know that there were VR filmmakers in the region who were doing content in 360. And there were startups who were talking about VR and AR for training. And it was amazing to see the response, and amazing to see local talent, local people, startups already there. They just needed a platform to come together and engage with each other and support each other. That's what association did very brilliantly here and across the globe, and that's what we'll do with MetaGate as well.
Very good. We are also supporting the entrepreneurs and the startups during MetaGate through our Innovate Accelerated Startup Competition. And we are happy to work together towards achieving our goals. And I'm sure also that VRAR, you are doing your best to help members navigate this rapidly evolving technology and capitalize on its opportunities. Shujat, as an expert, what do you think are the most pressing challenges facing the metaverse today, and how can we overcome them? Like, are there any specific areas or issues that you think require more attention or collaboration within the industry?
Definitely, I think there are some very basic and common things that we need to take into consideration. One of them is definitely is awareness about metaverse. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of companies, a lot of at enterprise level as well, that they still don't understand. People don't understand, including you and me. What is it all about? What is it going to do? How is it going to behave? What do you mean by metaverse? That basic question needs to be answered, and there needs to be awareness. That's why I'm happy that you have taken this initiative, MetaGate, because it will give a platform for a common person, for an employee, for a startup, for an entrepreneur to come and see what metaverse is all about. That's what. Exactly. Yes, discover, explore, learn, and then use that knowledge to have their own platform or have their own strategy in place. Yes. Second question is, do you need to be there in the first place? Are you at that stage where you should have a metaverse strategy, or you should have a metaverse platform, or you should associate with a metaverse platform? That's the first and foremost question I think needs to be answered at any level, because you don't want to jump the gun. You don't want to kind of prematurely dive into something and then later realize, oh, I think I made a wrong call because I don't have the right, either the right platform, or I don't have the right community, or I don't have the right content, or I don't have the right business for it yet. Maybe my business is not hasn't arrived yet. That's why you see the major players, whether it's a Nike or brands, or Adidas, or a fashion brands like a Gucci or Armani, or even enterprises like Apple or Microsoft. They need to have metaverse strategy in place because they are past that stage. They need to engage with newer audiences, right?
Yes.
Metaverse is proving to do that. It's going to give you a newer audience. It's going to also give you a platform where you can engage better in an immersive way with your audiences. Hence, the recall for the brand will become better. The call to action will become better. I will retain more knowledge, because it's interactive, it's 3D in nature. It's a different world altogether.
Yes.
So, and the last question, which I think we briefly touched upon, even me, was ethics and the security part of it, which needs to be addressed, which needs to be understood, because people still, we even all of us don't know the end game of kind of metaverse will be, where it's a platform where I not only engage, work, entertain, I also trade, buy commodity.
Yes.
So I expose my digital identity, my assets. That needs to be secure,
Exactly.
right? So yes, in metaverse, it's only metaverse if it's resting on a blockchain, right? But that needs to be understood. People need to be made aware that it's going to be safe, it's going to be secure, and what are those parameters, and what are the ethical challenges that we might face? Because once you create your own digital twin or your digital avatar, behind that, I might not know who you are. So I don't want to expose myself to cyberbullying. I don't want to expose myself to something where, I regret I shouldn't be part of it. So those things need to be put in place. Proper cyber laws, rules and regulations. I will not say a governing body, because that will be at an enterprise level. Each and every brand, each and every enterprise will have those things in place. But it remains a question mark. It's still a big area. So these are the three main things that I think should be addressed, should be spoken about.
Definitely, I agree. Important issues to address, and we are going to highlight these issues during our MetaGate Summit. On a related note, Shujat, as an expert in brand management and communication, how do you see businesses and organizations can leverage the metaverse to grow and innovate? I know there's so much potential in this stage, and I'm sure our viewers would love to hear your insights on how to get started. Like, what opportunities do you see for businesses, and how can they make the most of them?
I mean, I think part of it was, I think, answered in the first question. The first and foremost question is this: is my business ready, right, for metaverse, or do I understand the metaverse properly yet or not? Do I have the right talent? Do I have the right services? Do I have the right business for it? Or is it really going to kind of help me grow further or not? Once you understood that, then becomes I would say a smart step to either launch your own platform or to partner with an existing one. There are already brands and entities who have already started exploring, or they have either created their own platforms, or they have launched associated with something else. For example, Adidas was one of the first to kind of drop their logo in Roblox. Nike is associated to sell their own metaverse products. In fact, it made sense because it's giving you a newer audience. It's giving me an opportunity to engage with my audience in a more immersive manner, in a more interactive manner, where the user also has control. That's metaverse is all about. And I can also create my own content. I can also maneuver things, right? So, as I said, the first and foremost, the question is why, then how, what. These need to be answered. I would ask anybody, recommend that they should first, learn those things and then jump into. In terms of opportunities as a seller, they're vast. Whether it's engagement, whether it's using metaverse for particular services, whether it's, for example, training. A lot of entities are using uh, platforms, and they've launched platforms already where training will happen. So it will connect anybody, any employee, any trainer, any expert from anywhere in the world, not through a video call, but through a more engaging 3D kind of a platform where we get to engage more. Uh, we have seen that the association, we keep meeting people, we keep talking about how these platforms work and behave. In here UAE, for example, we're involved in a small project where Dubai Electricity Authority is kind of transforming their trainings. They're going to use VR a lot. They're going to use AR a lot to train their employees, right from field technicians to recruits to employees. And their end objective is this, that all of this then becomes part of their metaverse platform, where I not only log in to work on the platform, if I want to train myself, enter a training room, access the information that I need to access, get myself trained, come out, take a break, entertain myself on the same platform. And the beauty of it is, from anywhere. So I think, these are the avenues that a brand and the enterprise can explore. But identify those business sectors, identify those drivers where I should use it most.
Yes, maybe into education also, they have a lot of opportunities.
Yes. Education, definitely. Because, I think colleges, universities, or even I think students, they are new generation. It's so technologically aware or advanced that they're digital natives. They need a platform like this to educate themselves, to train themselves. And what we'll do is the accessibility will become easier for education, not only for people in smart cities like Dubai or developed countries, but for the countries where accessibility is the issue, right? Maybe I'm not able to launch a school and college in Ethiopia, but I can have a digital school.
Exactly.
And give access through some NGO to students there, where they can engage with content, they engage and see the outside world. Education, I think, is an easy fit and a must fit, both.
Yes. Shujat, speaking of opportunities, as our association partner for MetaGate Summit, how do you think events like MetaGate can contribute to the growth and development of the metaverse industry? And what are your expectations for this year's edition?
I mean, it's a as from a VRAR association perspective, I would like to thank you that you have, taken this initiative. Takes effort, takes understanding, and courage as well to do. But it's right. These are the initiatives that we want to associate with, because the takeaways should be simple, but very, very effective and very, very meaningful.
Yeah.
Knowledge sharing has to happen, which will happen at MetaGate. A platform for budding entrepreneurs, startups to come and see what experts are talking and find those opportunities. A startup should come out and say, okay, I found my investor, or I found my right partner. An employee or a new fresher out of college should say, there's so much of potential. There are so many companies, and my interest is metaverse. I can, be a part of anything I want to be. A big player should feel I can have access to talent pool, right? So these are the 3-4 things. Yes, people will come and talk, people will come and associate, people will come and exhibit, but in the end, the meaningful part is this, that people should come out and say, I learned, I networked.
It's all about creating value for our attendees.
Exactly. Creating value creating value for the ecosystem.
Yes.
That's what my that's what I would expect it will do, and it will, because it's a nice initiative dedicated to metaverse. We haven't seen many. We have seen smaller ones, but this can be a very nice initiative and a meaningful one.
Great, and we're excited also to collaborate with you, Shujat, at the VRAR team, and to see the exciting contribution you will be bringing to the event. Before we wrap up, Shujat, is there anything else you would like to share with our audience?
I think from a personal person, what I have learned is, no more research more, test, don't jump into something which you're not just because everybody else is talking about it. Because we saw that with VR and AR, that it was hype and there was a lot of talk, a lot of people associating, doing, I want to do everything in VR, I want to use VR, but in the end, it didn't see the reality.
Yeah.
Only the entities or the enterprise, the brands who had a proper strategy and a proper plan had proper use cases, and they took time. You won't believe now we are seeing very nice use cases, very nice projects coming where AR and VR is being used and will be used. It takes that amount of time. So do that. Don't jump. See what your business is. Analyze your ecosystem, and then take that call. Should I take the plunge right now? And how you want to take the plunge? Do you want to create your own platform, or you want to associate with somebody who's already existing? So those are the few calls I think the one needs to take and understand before jumping into the metaverse kind of an ecosystem.
Thank you, Shujat. And one last thing, I would like to remind our audience that VRAR and Shujat will have a dedicated panel session during our MetaGate Summit. So mark your calendars for the event and take advantage of the opportunity to connect with Shujat and other industry leaders. Thank you again, Shujat, for joining us today and for sharing your valuable insights. And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in to this episode of MetaTalks. Don't forget to follow us on social media for more updates on MetaGate Summit and our upcoming interviews. See you soon.
Thank you.